All right. Muscle Talk on Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. My special co-host is filling in for Jason Ons today, and that is IFBB Pro Physique, Kayla Murphy. What's up, Kayla?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good shit.
How was Christmas? Did Santa treat you well?
Santa did. Santa got me a nice new Wolfpack book bag, and I love it.
What is it with the Wolfpack? How much shit do you need to carry around? I mean, it literally looks like you're backpacking through Europe with that goddamn thing.
It does, but it comes in handy. I mean, some of them they're basically coolers, and they come with meal containers.
Okay.
So you put your ice pack in that front pocket, and then you can fit like 3 of the bigger containers, which are about that big.
Yeah.
Order smaller ones that aren't as deep, so you can put like 6 of them in your bag.
Definitely seems like a girl thing. I see a lot of girls with the Wolfpack stuff in the gym. I don't see many guys. You know?
Yeah.
And they have these little girls, right? They're like 5'2" or 5'3". I mean, they're in shape, and they have this Wolfpack. It's as big as them. I'm like, Jesus, what are you bricks back there?
They definitely have dead bodies in there because all go through crime. So
let's get into you a little bit. When did you turn pro?
I turned pro in 2018 in Teaneck, New Jersey at Universe.
Oh, okay. And you turned pro as a physique girl?
I did, yes.
Open?
Yes.
Wow, very impressive. That's actually really impressive. And did you win your category, or was it the top 2? I don't know how it works.
I won my class, and then overall, they don't give like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. They just tell you who won in the NPC. But I think they said that I was that I would have been 1st, but those short girls, it's not fair.
Physique, it's rough because, they're looking for a lot of muscle, and shorter girls are more compact, It's kind of like in the open when you're over 6 foot tall. It's very rough to fill out that frame.
Yeah. And I am taller side of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Too.
How tall are you?
Over people. I'm 5'7".
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love your t-shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's going to get a lot of views. You're perfect for this podcast, by the way.
Love it.
So did you enjoy last week's podcast?
I did. I thought it was funny. Oh my God. We were in my fiance's truck and on their way home from the gym when we were watching it, or we were going to the grocery store after the gym. And he was like, as soon as you said, I better get something out of this, he looked at me like, what the fuck?
Well, they're all just jokes. They're all just.
No, it was. He loved that Goodfellas quote, though. He loved that a lot.
Which one? Oh, the Janice Rossi. That's right.
He called it, right? As soon as you said it, he goes, Goodfellas.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you were like, Goodfellas. And he's like, I like this guy.
Yeah, it's I have a good time. It's fun. I'm just not very politically correct. And that's my personality, but it's part of the program as well, because otherwise I'd just be a boring bodybuilding channel just like everybody else. And it gets, like Dave Palumbo has his whack pack, with all the lunatics. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a whack pack, so I just have me. So I'm the one. Speaking of which, I got to plan my cousin's bachelor party. He's getting married.
Ooh.
Yeah. I did not know he was into black chicks. I hope his wife knows what she's getting into.
It's going to get rowdy.
All right. So what shows, have you done any pro shows?
I have done 3. Yes. In 2019, I did my pro debut at Omaha Pro in June. And then I did Chicago Pro in 3 weeks later. And then 4 weeks later, I did Prestige Crystal Cup.
How was the Chicago Pro? Because that's a big show for I think, is that Wings of Strength?
Yes, it is Wings. So was Omaha Pro. That was too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It was a lot smaller than Chicago.
So a lot of girls in those shows.
It varies. I think there was like 16 or 20 in Omaha, and then there was like 28 or 30 in Chicago. Do you
follow any of the bodybuilding women?
I do some of them, not like the big girls, or
they're open bodybuilding girls.
Yeah. I follow what's her name on Instagram? Marvelous or something.
Oh yeah.
I like her.
Yeah.
The chick that keeps winning, she's a badass. I follow her on Instagram too.
Yeah, I've had her on. I interviewed her one time. She came on over the summer, I believe. Yeah, over the summer. Oh God, she's gonna kill me. What the hell? What's her name? Miss Olympia, for Christ's sake.
Oh, I'm spacing on it too.
Andrea Shaw.
Yes.
Andrea Shaw. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is my opinion, but I might be wrong. It seems like, women's bodybuilding is back, like probably stronger than ever for the most part, right? And it took a real downturn before Jake Wood took it. And then before when they had women's bodybuilding at the Arnold, and when they had it at the Olympia before Jake Wood bought it, before they shut it down, the girls that they were picking to win looked more bodybuilder-esque, where now they're kind of leaning toward girls that you kind of have to have a feminine look to you as well, right? And there's I feel like, I might be wrong, I feel like a lot of girls that look more not as feminine, if you will,
right,
are kind of getting overlooked because they don't want that look. What do you think about that?
I completely agree, and I can't remember who said it, but it comes back to the money and how much money is being brought in through that. And right. They said previously that the reason why they got rid of women's bodybuilding was because it wasn't bringing in enough revenue, because they're not the ideal person that you want to look, basically, right. Which sucks, because it's like how much work they put in just to look like that and to get that size, and then being overlooked because they don't look pretty enough. Right. That's where I see it, is like they're not going to bring in as much revenue if it's not as pleasing to the eye to look at.
No, I happen to agree. And I'm a bodybuilding fan first. So when it comes to women's bodybuilding, I'm a bodybuilding fan. Obviously, I like a girl who's attractive when I look at her. But for me, I'm a bodybuilding fan first. So I have a good friend who's a pro bodybuilder, female. And she did did she do Chicago? Or did she do, what's the other one that is like Phoenix?
Yeah.
Phoenix. It was either Chicago or Phoenix. And clearly she had the best back out of all the women. It was unbelievable. Like from the back, it was like she was like a tiny Phil Heath. Right. And man, it was like, not even second call out. And she was really, really upset over it. And it just seems like it's going in that direction. And you see that Russian girl that's very popular now, Natalie, so on and so forth. She's very muscular, but she's also very feminine. She has the big boobs and she has the long hair and, nice skin and so on and so forth. Listen, it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So here's the gossip that's happening around bodybuilding right now. So Chris Bumstead was on Valuetainment. I don't know if you watch Valuetainment. It is I'd say definitely one of the biggest podcasts in the world. It is as mainstream as you can get, right? There's Joe Rogan, there's Valuetainment. It's as mainstream as you can get, right? The guy who runs it is Patrick McDavid, and he had on CBum, which is a huge accomplishment for bodybuilding, because you're having one of somebody from our world that's crossing over into mainstream, right? Which is amazing. Yeah. And I watched the interview. And I did a wrap up. I did a review on it. And it's a great interview if you can't get to sleep, because it's so boring. There is nothing exciting about CBum whatsoever. And it wasn't like he was giving one-word answers. He was giving answers. He's just very monotone, and everything is very politically correct, and everything's very general. And you could see that the host was really trying to pull it out of him, even though he wasn't giving one-word answers. Like the host, if he has a guest on and that guy is like ready to rock, that guy's if the guest is like on fire, he'll just let him rock. He'll let him go, And then obviously you have guests like CBum that are very soft-spoken and so on and so forth. And I was trying to figure out why people love him so much. I know he's the best in classic physique, and I know he's the most popular guy, but there's nothing like magnetic about him. So apparently after I did that, I wasn't the only one that had the same opinion, because on RX Muscle, Dave Palumbo had made a statement and caught some shit for it from CBum's followers, CBum fans, because he said, I don't understand how CBum has 22 million followers followers on Instagram when the Paul brothers, who are pretty much like the biggest social media guys in the world, have 25 million. So he was saying that the numbers might be a little suspect. And it's a valid question to ask. But what's your take on it? What do you think?
So you're saying you think he bought his followers?
I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it can't be valid. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. It's a good question to ask because CBum's very popular in our world, right? Mm-hmm. But the Paul brothers are popular throughout the entire world in every aspect.
We're the 1%.
Right.
We're a tiny community. Everyone that's in the community thinks it's huge because we exclude everyone else. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm pretty sure like half of my fucking followers are bots. Like, you cannot control that shit.
Yeah.
And I even realized recently on Instagram, they just follow people for me that I've never followed or ever seen before in my life. And I was like, what? So Instagram is glitchy as fuck. So there's always that side of it. Like, they're just bots. He has no control over it. Or one person has multiple accounts and following him. Other than that, like I do get like, you know, people can buy their followers. And I know that helps with exposure and getting sponsors and stuff, but why the hell would he need that?
Yeah, right. Exactly. But if you go back and watch the interview, right? Mm-hmm. Not only does he not have a magnetic personality, he's very nice. Like I said, he's clearly the best in classic physique.
Canadian, so he has to be nice.
Yeah, but he has there's no drive either. You know, that he doesn't seem to have this competitive drive in him. You know, everything's like, well, you know, I try to help the guys out if anybody needs help, and I tell them to do this and I tell them to do that, and so on and so forth. And you know, then Patrick Ben-David was trying to ask him what his next challenge is, and he couldn't answer it. And then he asked him about business ventures, and he really couldn't answer it. And I'm trying to figure out why the hell people love this guy, besides being the best. See, when I was growing up, right, and when I was competing, there was Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson. And once they blew up on YouTube and people saw how they trained in the gym, they blew up overnight.
Right.
Before that, they were kind of like, you know, pro bodybuilders that really, you know, and then the YouTube thing, just when you saw the lunatics they were in the gym, it blew up. Even when you watch Chris Bumstead work out, it's very methodical. It's nothing that makes you want to go to the gym when you watch it or anything like that. So I was trying to figure out, and I think Dave was on the right path. He was probably trying to figure out, why do people love this guy so much? He's boring. I think I'm onto something because I had an epiphany, if you will, but I want your opinion on it. Right? Okay. The majority of his followers are young guys.
Yes.
Okay. I think the idea that he has great discipline, there's clearly no question about that. He has tremendous discipline. He doesn't have this I want to kill you instinct as a competitive athlete, though, right?
Right.
And everything kind of aligned for him, if that makes sense. Because he turned pro as a bodybuilder, and he said that he wasn't going to go into bodybuilding because he knew he was too tall and he'd have to fill out that frame. And then once Classic Physique came out, that's when he went into it. So if there was no classic physique, he wouldn't be a bodybuilder, right? Yeah. So everything kind of aligned for him, and he became relatively successful quickly, right? Yeah. He's only 28 years old, and he's a 5-time classic.
He's 28.
Yeah, he's a young guy. And I think the young generation, the Gen Z generation, looks at him and basically goes, you know, see, like they could relate to a guy that doesn't demonstrate this crazy drive, this killer instinct, because most young boys today don't have that. They don't have, they're kind of soft, and they're like, well, everything happens for a reason and everything will fall into place and so on and so forth. They can't really relate to, I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming you're probably around my generation. They can't relate to the Mike Tyson that gets up at 4:00 in the morning and and does road work for an hour, and then goes to the gym and trains for 2 hours, and then says, you know, things like discipline is doing something you hate doing, but doing it anyway. They can't relate to that. What they can relate to is everything just falls into place, and the social media is in their face that they think that this is, oh, I could be a social media influencer. Meanwhile, it's 0.0001% of the population that could turn out to be like Chris Bumstead, right?
Right.
That's my opinion, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. But I want your perspective as a woman and being a pro bodybuilder.
So I kind of agree. I do agree with you a lot. Like that, like if you do things the right way, you stay disciplined, things will work out for you. Like he just has this very calm attack. His very calm demeanor towards the sport, which I think brings down the anxiety of it for some of these younger kids. But I also see he is very transparent for the most part. Like obviously he has a lisp. I think a lot of people can kind of relate to having something off about them. Not saying that that's a bad thing, and it's
but an imperfection, right?
But it's something that maybe he got bullied for when he was in high school or in middle school, something like that. Like he's the come up. He was down here and now he's up here. Like he's that comeback kid. I kind of see that as like everyone's draw to him, and then just like he suffers in silence too. And I think a lot of people appreciate that. He's not going out there like what's a dude's name that he competes against every year and gets second place? Not the Brazilian guy, but
the Brazilian guy.
The shorter black dude.
Yeah.
That on his shoulder.
Breon Ansley.
Yes, that dude. I laughed at that. I was like, you're gonna lose. Like,
but tell me what happened, because I didn't hear this.
So it was the day before, it was a press conference. They were on stage. They were getting asked questions. I can't remember who was interviewing them. And then they talked about or asked them to flex or hit a pose or something. And CBum's like, that's for tomorrow, kind of like.
Oh, so this was the Olympia press conference.
About it. And homeboy takes out, unbuttons his shirt on stage, throws his shirt on CBum at Chris.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Here, hold my shirt. I'll take care of this kind of thing. Like it was very showboaty. And I was like, did they ask him to do that?
Yeah.
Like what's going on? I thought it was kind of terrible.
Cool. Yeah.
That. And because you're going to lose tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
Chris Bumstead. And he just took his shirt off and held it in his hand and let him do his poses in his dress pants and no shirt on stage. And he was just laughing in the background. Like, I'll let you be you. Like his humility is very admirable. Like he just he didn't let that shit bother him.
Right.
So it was like, I'll see you tomorrow. And then he absolutely obliterated him. So.
Right.
But
yeah, see, I could totally understand where you're coming from, and that could definitely have something to do with it. The thing is though, the majority of people don't know that story.
Yeah. Well, and he cries on social media a lot too.
Say it again?
He cries. There's a video of him crying. Chris Bumstead.
Oh dear God. Are you serious?
Yeah. He got all emotional and shit.
So now I can't stay in the middle.
You didn't know this?
No, because I don't follow the classic physique as much as I follow the open. As a matter of fact, with the Olympia, I didn't know, I only knew like the top 3 guys. I had a friend who's a pro physique guy come on and help me and co-host with me to review the classic physique guys. Yeah. But I didn't know Bumstead. Well, I hate when I see men cry.
Flip. It was like his girlfriend or some shit came into the bathroom and he's just having he gets in his head like anxiety and all this crap. That's a lot of pressure on a person. Like,
yeah, but why put it out there?
I'm expected to win this until I don't.
Right.
And he was just like having a moment during his prep, and like he had a bunch of health issues too going on. He had to have surgery.
Yes, that's right. Kidneys.
2 weeks out from the show, and everyone thought he was going to have to back out. So it's like he overcame all this adversity, and he was just like, the video is like a clip of, he's like, my girlfriend came in the bathroom. She's like, you good? And I said, yeah. And then she stopped and asked me again, you good? Yeah. And she goes, I know you. You're not good. What's wrong? Tell me. And he just I just broke down crying, sobbing.
So he said that, or it was actual footage?
He said that, but there is a video of him crying too.
Oh, so there's another video of him crying.
Yes.
See, I don't.
He just gets him. Like, that's what I meant by he's very transparent. Like, he's like, this.
Yeah. It's definitely a generational thing. Okay. Because I wasn't allowed to show emotion growing
Fat.
up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. If I showed emotion, my father was as stoic as it comes. I mean, he was a rock. There was never saw him cry. Never saw him lose control of his emotion. Well, I did once or twice, but very, very, it would be more anger.
Yeah.
So growing up, that's how it was for me and my brothers. So I understand it's a generational thing. But if I see a man that can't control his emotions, I understand that, behind closed doors is one thing. Sometimes you have a weak moment. But to display it, I mean, I guess to display it, I take it as, I know this is going to be politically incorrect to say, I take it as a sign of weakness. But what I mean by that is I understand that it happens, right? It happens to all of us.
Right.
But you just deal with it privately.
Yeah.
And then, and that's how like the last time I actually broke down and cried, 2004, my father died. It was 20 years ago. Right. So it's very difficult for me to understand that. And I think it's a generational. I think the younger generation is more into their emotions. The guys are more into their emotions.
I agree.
Than my generation. I'm 47 years old. So I'm Gen X. And I remember this girl I liked, right? I was like 18 or something like that. I liked this girl, and this girl broke a date with me, and I really liked her. And I was upset. And my father said, "What are you upset about?" And I said, the girl, whatever. I don't remember the girl's name. He just looked at me and he goes, "Get fucking real." That was it.
There needs to be more fathers like that.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
buttercup. Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. When I tell you stoked, it's unbelievable. But my mother, because she was from that generation, my parents, my mother's 88 years old.
Yeah,
that's the World War II generation.
Shit, yeah,
yeah. So and they're first generation. So my grandparents are from Italy.
Ooh,
yeah. So it's like, so when my mother saw guys like that, she would even be like,
"What the fuck is your problem?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's very difficult for me to understand that kind of mindset. But I guess today's generation,
everyone's softer.
Yeah,
So it works for them. They're like, "Oh, Chris Bumstead cries. That means I can too."
Yeah. And what's funny is that I think how can I say this? I think it is because the dads, every generation gets a little bit more and more emotional and so on and so forth. And even the dads are going, "No, it's fine. It's okay to cry," and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Yeah. I see that too. And I'm like, I don't say anything,
I'm not going to call my kid a fucking idiot to his face.
Yeah. No, I get it. But, if it's get up, brush yourself off, it's no big deal. Yeah. Get over it. That's different. I didn't, as a matter of fact, both of my parents did that. So I didn't have this compassion side. Yeah. I had nothing.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I did not. I did not.
I did, but I was like, I was the kid. I was afraid to disappoint my dad. My dad wouldn't get mad at us. And that wasn't even the scariest part. It was like when he would say, "I'm disappointed in you." It was just like, fuck me.
Yeah. No,
but my mom's parents were very stoic, and her mom didn't show a lot of emotions until I think my cousin died in 2003. She was 20 years old, and then she just completely changed. Now my grandma has no sense of personal space. Okay. He's like, that bubble has broken, but like he was very stoic, wasn't touchy, lovey, any of that. And
it was a dramatic, life-changing moment for her.
What?
It was a dramatic, life-changing moment for her.
Yeah. And then she changed, like that hit her, and I was complete 360 of a person. I was like, now she wants to hug you all the time. Like she realized
180
it for granted.
Well, 180.
Fucking math. I wasn't good at it.
360, you'd be in the same spot where you were originally.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so
I mean, but cool. Yeah.
So from a woman's perspective, right? Are you? I'm not okay. Let's not say attracted. Let's say
drawn.
Aroused. Yeah. Are you aroused by a guy who is stoic, a leader, in control of his emotions, or you prefer a guy that will break down and is in his emotions and accepts, being sad and depressed and unhappy when the time comes?
I prefer stoic, but being able to tap into that.
Yeah.
In a, like, not all the time. Like, if you're going to cry more than me, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that big of a baby, but I cry sometimes.
I think a lot of women, what they want is they want the stoic man.
Yes.
But they're vulnerable for them.
Yes. That is 100% my fiance.
Right.
He would never cry in front of anybody unless it was me. Even his mom. Nope.
It's the Beauty and the Beast story, right? It's the monster that is only vulnerable for me.
Yes.
And I think that's what a lot of women desire, right? The monster that I can call on to protect me and provide, but he is in love, but he is greatly in love with me. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Beauty and the Beast story. It's King Kong. There's plenty of romantic stories like that and so on and so forth. And I think the problem is girls get confused with the guy that is vulnerable for her as opposed to who's just vulnerable, because you got a lot of guys that are just overall vulnerable.
Yes.
And they can't, and there is no, there is no direction or leadership or control.
Yes. I was having that conversation with my fiance the other day because he always tries to get me to make decisions. And I said, I tried to pull some, I don't even know what psychologist said this shit, but she was like, you're putting women in their masculine when you're making them make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're making me be in my masculine. You make the decisions when I really just can't make a decision because I have ADHD.
I think, you're 100% right. Right. I think, just so you know, those 2 degrees behind me, even though I'm a blue collar worker in the sewer, one of them is in psychology. Okay. I don't know if you see them up there. So it's not like, I don't want people think I'm talking out of my ass. Okay. But I think the problem is men don't understand how women operate and vice versa. So men are just like, just make a decision. It's not difficult. But the problem is women don't want that. Listen, when I come home from work on a Friday night, my wife, we always order food. And the first question she asks me, what do you want to order? And if I say, I don't care, whatever you want, it's a problem. I have to throw suggestions out until she agrees, Yeah. Chinese. Nah, I had Chinese for lunch. Mexican. I had that during the week. Pizza. Okay, I'll go for pizza.
Yeah.
Right? And that's basically what men don't get. They just can't. They don't realize that it's not that they don't want to. Look, did you ever go on a female bachelorette party?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a shit show because nobody can make a goddamn decision. No.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know. Just pick one.
Yeah. So basically, and then what happens is if you marry a guy that isn't like myself or like your husband, after some time, the girl loses respect for him. It's like, Jesus Christ, she goes.
Well, it's like, I got to do everything. You're right. It seems very submissive when he goes, whatever you want, babe.
Right.
John will say that to me too, but I'm like, I don't know it. This.
Yeah. It also depends on the situation, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, when we bought the house, I don't care what color you want to paint the fucking living room.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Whatever. Looks great to me. Okay. But I choose where
we want you guys to have input though. That is, we want some input. We don't want, because when you say, I don't care, babe, it's like, oh, so you don't care about me. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's where our brain goes to, because we overthink everything.
Right.
Come up with fake scenarios in our heads. But
yeah. So let's pull it back to bodybuilding, right?
Yes.
I think you're onto something. I think we're both onto something where this is CBum is basically a reflection of this generation.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a weird kid and everyone's weird now.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So is that Sulek kid. Like, he's weird as shit and everyone is obsessed with him.
I don't understand that it's Sam Sulek.
The nonchalance.
But he has no fucking clue what he's doing. It just blows me away. do you ever watch his videos where he tells you what to eat or how to work out? And you're like, how is this like at least CBum knows what he's doing. Yeah, and he's an accomplished athlete. This guy never did anything. And it's like, what? When he's talking about donuts and chocolate milk. And I mean, it's just
calories, bro. Fuck, they're not.
Yeah, no. Then they actually did a study. I'm pretty sure. If I would have known I was going to bring it up, I would have looked it up. But it was a research study, and they gave a sample of people 3 different shakes, right?
Yeah.
One was all basically carbohydrates to sugar, right? Another one was soy protein, and another one was whey protein. And they told all the people, don't change anything about your diet. Just keep doing what you're doing and just drink these once a day or whatever it was.
Right.
And they were all the same amount of calories. I think they were all 400 calories. So the people that took the shake that was all carbohydrates, all sugar, gained body fat. The people that had drank soy basically had no reaction. And the people that drank whey lost some body fat and gained a little bit of muscle.
Yeah.
And so it was just to prove that calories aren't calories.
Yeah.
Right. And this kid is going around telling everybody, no, go and have a yeah. Yeah. And you're like, really?
I have a master's degree in exercise science. And I'm just like, I watch his training videos and I'm just like,
yeah,
he has no centric control of anything.
Zero. It's unbelievable. Yeah. You know what it is? He's a hyper responder.
He's an ectomorph or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy that could look at weights and grow.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I think it's the idea that he doesn't have to do anything. He's not telling the young, hey, you got to work hard, or you have to, I just eat what I want and I train like this and it just comes. And I think they want to believe that because that's the story they're told.
Yes. So, everyone's looking for the easiest way to do shit.
Right.
And he's like, look, you can still have donuts and chocolate milk and you can have a 6-pack. No. It doesn't work like that for everybody.
Yeah, it only works like that for you lunatic,
Well, he's also on the amount of drugs. Have you seen his face? He looks 40.
That's the thing. He never mentions it, and he never goes on podcasts where he's where it's like an interview or anything like that. All his social media he does himself. I think he's been on Fuad's channel, but they're never going to ask him that. That's his sponsor, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I would love to know how much they're paying him. I would love to know.
It would be nice
because Fuad got him when he was at around 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now I think he's around 2 million.
Yeah, he is definitely at 2 million. Like millions of views on his shit.
Yeah, and I didn't know who he was till Fuad signed him. I was like, who's this kid?
Yeah.
Because I'm not into the social media guys. I always followed the competitive bodybuilders, right? So I'm like, who the hell is this guy? But it makes sense for Fuad because he's going to reach a broader audience and a more mainstream audience and a younger audience. So it makes sense, right? I get on why he did it, but I would just love to know how much he's paying him.
I want to know if he has any intentions of getting on the stage or if he's just going to ride this freaking horse as long as possible.
Why would you? He's probably making a fortune.
I'm getting paid up like whatever the fuck they're paying him, which it's a lot. And he's obviously monetizing all of his stuff that he puts on social media too.
Right.
So he's probably making $1 million by this point.
No question. His Instagram's is making money. His YouTube is making money, and in stupid money too. Not like, he's making stupid money. He doesn't have to do this and work a second job like I do, right? Yeah. And then I'm sure Fuad's paying him. I know. I'm sure Fuad's paying him a pretty dollar. And the kid's 21 years old. I did interview Samson Dowda, and he did tell me that the kid does have his head on straight, and he's still going to school, and he doesn't overspend, and he doesn't party or anything like that. So that's good to know, right? I mean, I know it's Samson Dowda, and they're sponsored by the same company, so he probably has to talk good about him. But you haven't heard.
Awkward too, so
yeah, you might be right, but like think about any other, like at 20, because he's 21. When I was 21, I didn't have 2 quarters to rub together, right? But if I did, if I had his money at 21, I'd probably be overdosed with 2 hookers in the back of my car on the side of the road somewhere.
I'd be doing some fucked up shit.
I
was 21.
Yeah, that's probably because any like I remember going to the nightclubs when I was a kid because I grew up in New York, and we either go to the nightclubs in New York City, or we would go to the Jersey Shore, or we'd go to the Hampton, wherever, you were partying, it's your early 20s. And we would pull money together for cocaine.
And be like, hey, you got enough for this cover?
Yeah. Everybody would pull money for cocaine and ecstasy. And it was just like, it was, it was most of the time, those young, you see it all the time in the NFL and the NBA, and right, they're always in trouble. And so, because they're all young kids that just, they get the money thrown at them and they don't know how to handle it, right? It's only when you get older that you know how to handle it, right? Yeah. But you see it all the time. But to know that, and I tend to believe Sam's undoubted, because you don't hear anything bad about Sam Sulek ever. Who is the Australian kid? You always hear about him in trouble. Colin Mc something.
Oh, Van Mogel?
Something like that. Yeah.
Callum?
Yes. Van Mogel? He's always in trouble. He's
on drugs all the
time. Yeah. But
jumping off the cliffs and tearing his freaking patellar tendon. He snapped twice doing stupid shit. Like, he was just like, let me curl 315. Snaps his bicep.
Yeah, right. More. Exactly. And there was a whole bunch. Yeah. Then he was, wasn't he missing? He went on a binge, and people looking for him in Australia. It was just a disaster.
Some shit. He tried to kill himself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But you never hear anything like that about Sam Sulek. You always kind of hear, he kind of just likes to go to the gym and so on and so forth. And, even what's funny is that even I get that maybe you don't like to drink or you don't like to do drugs because you're an athlete, but it's got to be extremely difficult to keep it in your pants at that age when you have that kind of fame.
Well, there's so many TikToks about him being super awkward around girls.
Really?
And people are making like parody like clips of girls being close to him and him failing exercises because girls are too close to him and he just can't. He doesn't know what to do. It's not
really.
He doesn't give two shits about whoever's looking at him, but like, they're so fucking funny.
Really? I never knew that.
So funny. I'm still like failed at chest press because this girl walked by him. That's not why he failed. It was the last rep of the
well, that would make sense if
off of the fact that he's never talks about girls, never like, or when he does, it's always weird. Like he seems very awkward in that respect. Right. Which let them come to you. Now that you're famous, they will come to you.
Yeah, you just got to be careful which ones come to you. And that's the difference. That's the difficult part of 21. At 21, all a young man is looking at is boobs and butts. That's it.
Fuck around and find out era of your life.
That's right. Yeah.
And he needs, like, you need to fuck up. You need to do those things. In my opinion, you need to do that shit.
I hope he has good people around him, because listen to this. Here's a story. Okay. I used to be a huge boxing fan. And of course, Mike Tyson, was the champion when I was growing up and everything. And I think he was youngest heavyweight champion ever at 20. And he had this girl, and he got this girl pregnant. And his original trainer's name was Customato, right? And there was a boy. He got this girl pregnant, and there was a boy. The girl said it was, your kid, so on and so forth. So he named the kid D'Amato after his trainer, right?
Yeah.
And so he's taking care of the kid, and he's sending the girl money and so on and so forth. I mean, he's still doing his thing. He's still Mike Tyson, heavyweight champion. He's sending the money, all this crap. And it turns out, he finds out a few years later, it wasn't his kid. Yeah. So that's the type of woman, that you kind of have to be able to dodge. Get away from me. Get away from me, devil.
Days, the very beginning is like, I want a paternity test, even though you're married. What?
Yeah.
You're married. Of course it's yours.
It's so, at Sam Sulek's age, at 21, that kind of fame and that kind of money and those girls, it's almost a blessing that he's walking around girls, if that's the case, because that could be a real, at 21 years old, you could literally pole vault from your bedroom to the bathroom when you wake up in the morning.
I don't mean this in a bad way, but like any of those kinds of thoughts that are out there, I don't think any of them would want to date him, even with his status. Like, all he does is go to the gym.
Yeah.
He doesn't party, so there's no draw to him besides the fact that he makes money. but then if you're also seeing that he's not spending it either.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
why the hell do I want to date him? For social, that's about it. Is like views on Instagram and whatnot. That would be the only reason why someone would want to be with him.
Yeah, or the type of girl that targets him to manipulate him, like one of those ratchet bitches, no, you happen to be right, because young girls want to have a good time. Yeah, they want to go out and so on and so forth, blah blah. And
right.
have, even if you're not like a party chick, even if you're dating with a purpose, you still want to go on dates and stuff like that, right? And you still, so that makes perfect sense. I think
he's a good girl.
Yeah, I've never been in a position like that. All of my success, if you will, has come at a regular pace.
Yeah.
Right? And it's as it should, right? When you have young guys that make it to the top that early, it's almost unnatural, because you mentally can't handle it. You emotionally can't handle it. You can't handle what comes with it. As a man gets older and he makes more and more money and so on, and he has more and more assets, the home, cars, 401k, investments, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You go down the list, investment property, blah, blah, blah. You get to 40, 50 years old, and you could you understand to stay away from this woman, to stay away from the scene. And you don't want to go there. I come home from work and I do a podcast. I'm exhausted. I'm like, I just want to fucking sit on the couch and watch TV. I don't want to go out partying. You're more grounded. But the people don't realize that the guys that make it in their 20s and make millions of dollars, like a Sam Sulek or a Chris Bumstead or the NBA players in the NFL, they're less than 1% of the population. The majority of guys that become successful is over time, over years. They have to work and grind and climb that success ladder before they even see it. The majority of guys make the majority of their money after 40. I think the stat is after 40 or something like that. And I'm definitely in that category. Like I said, I didn't have a pot to piss in when I was 21. I had nothing. And it's just finally, you try to make the best decisions you can and have a skill set. And then don't be afraid to take calculated risks,
right.
Like this channel is a risk, but it's a calculated risk. What I mean by a calculated risk, this channel is I could afford to keep it going if I'm not making any money.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what a lot of young people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. They think you could just start a social media platform and that's it. You make money. It's like, no, you need equipment, you need editing, you need people to help you. You need merchandise. This is all money. And even to put your stuff on a podcast is a monthly subscription you have to pay every month. And these are little things that these young kids people don't take into consideration. But I'm like, I was like, okay, but I could afford to do that now. So I could afford to take that risk, right? So on and so forth. So it just comes with the territory. But guys like Chris Bumstead and Sam Sulek, very, very small percentage of people. And as much as we're talking about them, like I said, I'd rather see those guys be successful than the Colin Mongvoger, who are the drug addicts, the lunatics. At least they're good. I mean, Sam Sulek doesn't know his ass from his elbow when it comes to nutrition and exercise and so on and so forth. But at least he seems like a very grounded, decent human being.
Yeah, I think he's got good intentions. I think what his big draw is like, he's like, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
People do, and they get so fucking frustrated that they're not making any progress, and then they quit.
That's actually a very good topic. Last topic. That's a very good topic because, like you said, what's your degree in?
Exercise science with a concentration in strength and conditioning.
You're very intelligent. Can't even pronounce that.
Thanks.
But last topic, and I see this a lot with the younger generation in the gym because I get out of work at 3:00. So I'm up. I work 7 to 3. Sometimes I work till 7, and then I usually go right to the gym. Right. I get it over with, whatever, blah blah. And the majority of kids that are there at that time are either high school kids or college kids. I see them all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not even just them. It could be anybody who's really starting out. And it looks like to me, they're all trying to put the cart before the horse. they're not doing the basics. They're doing a lot of angles, and they're overthinking it, or they watch a YouTube channel or social media, and they're kind of getting away from the basics. They're getting away from like they will bench press, but they'll be on the floor, not on a bench with dumbbells. They're kind of overthinking it, or they'll
shit.
What'd you say?
And so they're trying to do all the cute shit. Like
right.
My coaches in the past used to say, quit trying to be cute about it. Like stick to the basics, the fundamentals, like do it this way. Stop trying to be cute. And I just think about that all the time. And I used to train high school kids for 9 years in the weight room. And that's all I did with them. And they were fucking bored half the time. But I was like, you know what? You're not going to get to do this until you can prove to me that you can do this. And that is the foundation of everything. And they just didn't know. They're like, no, I want a deadlift. I'm like, no, your back is going to break. Because you can't even bend over. You can't even RDL. So why the fuck am I going to let you deadlift? No.
Right. And when they do deadlift, they look like a dog taking a shit in the park. When it's like this. It's like, oh God, what are you doing? So do you notice that too in the gym with the young generation, where it seems like the more information that's on social media, the more it pollutes the information that the kids are getting. Yes.
No, I absolutely agree with that. And yes, I do see that in my gym as well. And it sucks. And I wish that they knew what my profession was. And because I don't talk to anybody, I'm like zoned in, but I do pay attention to what I see. And today I saw it. These kids doing, I don't even know, some rope bicep curls on the machine. And I really wanted to stop the kid and be like, are you working your traps or your biceps? Because you're up here doing this. What the fuck you're doing? Yeah. And another thing is, every time I see these high school kids in there, they're always doing bodybuilder workouts. And it's usually upper body. It's chest and arms.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Want to be like, hey, I understand that you think that chicks dig big biceps, but their legs are already twice your size of your legs. Maybe you should do leg days so that you don't have to play catch up later.
Right.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
None of them are doing like athletic weight training. And that bothers me because I know they're athletes because they're all wearing their stupid fucking high school baseball t-shirts and shit.
Yes.
You're an athlete and you're in here doing fucking bicep curls. You're doing 21s. You're going out regular. And
yes. Yeah.
What are you doing? You should be on the turf doing planks and pushing the fucking sled, and that's it.
Right.
Core strength and power. That's what you need to focus on. You don't need to have big fucking biceps to swing a fucking bat.
Right.
Hips, power. And I just I never see any of them doing anything that can help them be successful with what they're doing right now. They're all like, I need to make sure my arms are huge.
Yeah. Well, that's the.
Well, they're not. So I don't think you're doing it right.
Yeah. I think as guys, we all go through that, but I think this generation's worse now for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's worse now because when I used to go to a gym, there were no LA Fitnesses, there was no retros, there was the hardcore gyms, right? The first gym I went to was Ferrigno's gym. Lou Ferrigno had 2 gyms, one in Brooklyn and one in Staten Island, right? Because he was from Brooklyn. He's from the same neighborhood as I grew up in too, actually. And you would go, and then there was another gym called Atlas Gym, they were all hardcore gyms, and there was Pump and Iron. And the guys would help you. The guys in there, they were all competitive bodybuilders or powerlifters. And, and it's like, they had the pictures on the wall and the trophies and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And they would help the younger kids. So, and they would teach them how to spot, and they would teach them how to train, and so on and so forth. When you go to an LA Fitness or a Retro or whatever corporate gym, it's the blind leading the blind. The guys in there have no clue what they're doing, and nobody's teaching the young kids anything either.
Nope.
And sometimes I'm not going to lie, I see young guys, especially high school, 18, 19 years old, early college, whatever, and they don't know what to do, like they're going to hurt themselves. I will say, hey, kid, do you want me to help you? And I become more like a mentor, right? Yeah. I won't do it for girls because that whole trend that's going on with the Instagram, with the creepy guy that's looking at you. So the girls are on their own, right? Sorry. I ain't looking. I don't want to wind up on Instagram.
I don't think they would want a guy to help them.
Yeah.
In the gym. I don't know. They're all weird.
So I stay away. And if the guy is like over 30, you're on your own. If you don't know what you're doing by this point, I don't know what to tell you. But the majority of the time, the young kids, like they like when you show them and you help them and so on and so forth. Like I see a lot of guys curling, but they're curling. Doing forearm curls. Meanwhile, they you could tell that they're 100 pounds soaking wet, and they're doing like the reverse forearm curls. And I'll ask them. I said, who taught you how to do that? Right? Because I don't want to put the blame on them.
Right.
I don't want to say to them, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So I go, who taught you to do that? And they go, oh, I saw it on YouTube. I was like, do you know what you're doing it for? And then I try to like nicely help them. Right. And, so I see things like that all the time. What'd you say?
I said, I can't do that because I'm a female. And if I walked up to a high school kid.
Oh, forget, you'd make his day. You'd make his year.
I don't know. I think some of the kids are afraid of me at my gym, but that's because I always just have this resting bitch face, and I should wear a sticker on my forehead that says "fuck off." Because
if you went up to a high school kid, okay, let's say about 16, 17 years old, okay, you are not an unattractive girl, okay. I know you're married, so you're not an unattractive girl. If you were to walk up to a high school kid and say to him, "Can I help you?" and you help him, he is going to file that memory in the back of his brain. Okay. And then when he gets home, he'll open up his laptop, look for an adult entertainer that reminds him of you, and have his way and treat himself like an amusement park.
I'm worried that these kids will show up on her biceps. Whoops.
Say it again.
I said muscle webcam sites. I don't want to turn these kids into the weird, creepy people that slide into my DMs every
okay.
Bicep, please.
Oh God, yeah. All right. If you're willing to talk about that, I definitely want you to have you on for another.
I have the best. I took a screenshot of the best. It's a fucking paragraph of what this guy told me he would do for me and to me, and it is amazing.
Yeah, I've interviewed several girls, open, bodybuilding girls.
It's fun. It gets wild in them.
And I've interviewed, but some of the girls, that's how they make a living. There's some of the girls, that's how they make their money. Like Alicia Young doesn't pull any punches. She'll tell you, "Oh, this is what I do. I arm wrestle guys. I body slam them. I choke them out. I make videos for them." And I go, okay. And I actually asked her, "What's the line for you?" I'm dying to have her back because I got so many views from her, but so I said, "What's the line for you? What won't you do?" And she goes, "Anything that has to do with farting. I can't fart on camera. Guys want me to fart on them or video me farting." And I'm like,
that would be easy.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Give me a couple eggs. I'll push some out for you. They might stink.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Protein farts.
I am going to have you on again. There's no question about it. Okay.
Absolutely.
But don't go away. We'll talk for a second right after this. But Kayla, it has been a pleasure. And it really has been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being my co-host on Muscle Talk this week.
Absolutely.
I can't stress enough how I appreciate you coming on and doing this with me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No problem. It was fun. I love it.